Hello, party people. This is the Healers in Healthcare show for January 2024. And this is a very special one, not only because of my amazing guests that we have here, but also because this is the last episode that we're going to do with my big belly here. Maybe I'll even show my belly. Yeah, you guys can, I don't know if you can see it. I never know which way to turn the camera, that way. You can see my big belly, and I'm already ready for Valentine's Day, apparently, with this sweater. But yeah, this is our last episode. I'll probably resume doing this again in probably May. I think I'll be all right. Hopefully, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. When am I going to be okay to come back on the show? Lindsay's due on March 9th, so I don't know. All you moms out there, Melinda, you can tell me too. How long is it going to take to train a baby to take naps at a certain time? I have no idea. But anyway,
Take your
have fun. So welcome. I know we have so many people supporting Melinda today, and I'm so excited to welcome you into this group, into this community. This Healers in Healthcare show really came through to me as a divine download, as an inspiration to help more healers in healthcare, pharmacists, and really any entrepreneur who is wanting to create a domino effect of healing in the world. This show is meant to bring these people together, all different healers and functional medicine practitioners, to show you what's possible when you move beyond the counter, right? And so when you elevate into entrepreneurship, you do all sorts of amazing things, right? This is where this book came from, was, really this idea of how do I show more of what's possible with entrepreneurship. So really this concept started with this book of moving beyond the counter, bringing all of these practitioners together. And I've interviewed a lot of them. So that's why I'm bringing on Melinda today, because she is not only a dear friend, but a client of mine, a past client. She has really transformed over the time that I've known her, and in such a short amount of time. So I want to just take a moment before she introduces herself to really acknowledge the dedication, the heart, the drive that I have witnessed in her, because I know that entrepreneurship is a rocky road. It really is a rocky road, and I admire so much when I see people just go for it, because I know how much can come with this journey. So I want to just acknowledge you. And this was kind of a little surprise. I sometimes share in the beginning of these shows, like what I really admire about my guests before I introduce them. And so I want to just really take a moment and acknowledge you, Melinda, for everything that you've done. And I just cannot wait to have you show up and shine today to share all of your gifts and your brilliance and everything that you're up to in your business. So without further ado, welcome. I want to hear all about you. Tell our audience a little bit about you.
Well, thank you for that. Oh my gosh, you got me almost teary-eyed.
I've cried on the show. It's okay. I
Oh
cry
my
all the time.
goodness. So my name is Melinda Fowler, and I am the hormonal pharmacist. That is something that I have dreamed about and had visions about, and literally in my night dreams about this business and how I can bridge the gap in between physicians and patients, and not only bridging that gap, but also taking traditional medicine and bridging it with functional medicine, which meant I had to learn about functional medicine. So I was a pharmacist for 25 years in a busy retail chain pharmacy,
Yeah.
and I loved it originally when I first started, loved it. And through the years, it just became my comfort zone. My patients were my friends. I attended their children's weddings and held their hands at their husbands' funerals, and it just became a family. And I just really loved that connection that I had with my patients. And then all the bureaucracy of corporate life, all the metrics started to begin to be top notch. Everyone's thoughts is about 15 minutes or less, and I
Yeah.
wanted to give my patients more than that, because they deserve more than that. And so I began thinking how I can transition and make a bigger difference. And I know that I've made a difference in their lives, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to see something more for myself. And so I left retail pharmacy, just took a big, deep breath and just jumped. I didn't
Hmm.
really know what that was going to look like. Um, for a few years, I embedded into a practice that was not as functionally minded as I thought. And during this time, I did go into my functional medicine training, got my fellowship with A4M, and because I knew that I needed to be able to intelligently talk to patients about how they can help their medicines to work with them and work for them. And I'm an all or nothing kind of person. And so I wanted to know it all. So
Yeah.
my goal was to help women transitioning through menopause with their hormone symptoms, their hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, all the things, because it's personal for me because I'm going through that myself. And
Yeah.
I knew that there was a big gap that wasn't being covered. And so diving into functional medicine was really a personal thing. It was to heal myself. But now that I've done that, it's become my real passion to share that with others so that they know what is out there, that they don't have to put up with not sleeping at night. You don't have
Yeah.
to put up with hot flashes. So yeah, it's just become my passion, and I've pivoted in my career. Never thought I would leave the 9 to 9. Never thought I would leave the busyness of the retail world, but now that I have, I've seen like a whole nother world that's out there, and I'm so excited about where I'm going in it. So yeah,
Wow.
I've started this business, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. So before I forget, because I forgot to say this in the beginning, if you are live with us or you're watching the replay, make sure you're commenting. And if you go to the top of the broadcast, click on Ecamm Live so that you can have, so that I can see who you are when you're commenting live so we can engage with you. Because I know I have so many questions right now for Melinda. So I'm sure you guys do too. And make sure that you're asking us questions because I can see the chat. And when you grant Ecamm Live access to for me to see your name, I'll be able to funnel those questions to Melinda. And I want to just say again, like your I go to spirituality right away. I'm like, because I can so clearly see how God is using you in the world, right? So God uses willing vessels, and you are so willing. Like you talked about all or nothing. What I feel is like you're determined, right? You're determined to create something meaningful that is going to add value to the people that you're meant to serve. Because I think one of the biggest and tell me what you think about this. One of the most rewarding things that you can do when you've gone through a transformation is to then turn around and help that person 5 steps behind you who's like, I'm struggling. I'm not sleeping at night. I have hot flashes. What do I do? What's wrong with me? I'm gaining weight. It's that like that feeling of being so out of control. And I can relate to that in a different way. Because like, for those of you who are new, to my world, I had an eating disorder, a very rare eating disorder for 7 years, and it was just so debilitating. And it was a lot of my trauma showing up in my body and manifesting as physical symptoms and anxiety. And it was like I was like possessed. I would get up in the middle of the night and binge, and it was just like, oh my god, I'm out of control of my body. And so I think that that's really what drives me. And it sounds like your personal journey, Melinda, is what drives you to keep pushing, to keep, writing. And, you have a beautiful group, the hormonal hangout. I think, am I saying it right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
definitely, you can drop the link if anybody's interested in that group. Melinda's always posting articles and blogs and things like that that are really of such value. So we'll definitely be dropping that link to the Facebook group in the show notes here. But I want to ask you because I'm always like I go deep right away. I'm like I'm curious about this. So like for you, as you were going through this journey, how has your like you said you took the leap, you made some pivots. What internal lessons do you feel, or like how is God shaping your character in those moments? Like what do you feel like you've learned even in entrepreneurship? I'm curious.
Find your passion and find a way to utilize that in what you have knowledge of. So marry your knowledge with your passion,
Yeah.
and you cannot go wrong. I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned is do it all out, go all out, go for it. Um, and even in things that you feel like you don't have knowledge about, I had no idea how to make a website. I had no idea what SEO optimization meant or
Yeah.
embedding code and in an email campaign, but now I do. Not that I'm passionate about those things, but I knew that
Yeah.
I knew that I had to learn how to do it in order to communicate my passion.
Right.
So sometimes you have to get uncomfortable to carry on your big vision. You have to look at your big vision, and identifying my why was very important for me. It's very important. It's on post-it notes in my bathroom so that I see it often
I love that.
and remind myself why I'm doing this.
You better be getting some hearts here. Like, come on, guys, give her some love. Like these are knowledge bombs we're dropping right now. It's
Yeah.
so powerful. Yeah, I love that. So those are anchors, right? So subconscious anchors. I have so I teach some of my clients too to put that on their phone, on the background of their phone, what they want to anchor in, what are their new beliefs of, living into that future version of themselves. So I love that so much. Yay, we have some more people joining. Hello, hello. Yeah, definitely go back and watch some of the beginning golden nuggets because Melinda is dropping them left and right here. I love it so much. So, yeah, I think like what's often missed in this conversation too around entrepreneurship is some of those internal ways that even though we like fail, right? Like I've had failed launches, I've had failed relationships, I can laugh at myself. I'm not perfect for sure, but I know that my character is being molded. And I think that's the important thing rather than seeing like whatever it is, if you launch a program, if you don't get clients or someone says no to an offer that you have, like it doesn't tie to your worth. It actually, like if you just say, okay, maybe it's not an alignment right now, there's always a way to kind of, feel the disappointment. Obviously, we're not going to bypass it, but then reframe and say, okay, how is this helping me? How is this allowing me to evolve to maybe then learn, okay, if I'm seeing this pattern in my business, how can I shift my sales conversations? Or maybe I can make a 1% tweak. I think that that's important. And to realize like we're getting stronger. Like I'm sure the first time, Melinda, that you tried to write a newsletter or like build a website, you were like, what am I doing? But
Crazy.
now and you've built that resiliency or resourcefulness. Like maybe you had to ask somebody, hey, like, what do you do with this? So I would love to hear like some of those things too. Like if you can think about some of the internal qualities that you've honed over the past, ever since you've been an entrepreneur or throughout your career journey as you
Well, something
pivoted.
that has really keyed in for me lately has been the saying, "You don't fail. You either win or
Yes.
you learn." And I've been doing a lot of learning lately, and I think it's just the consistency and
Yep.
staying true to why you're doing this, continually showing up. And one of the things that I think held me back in the beginning was I was trying to make a sale. I was trying to woo people into my site and come and see my big thing. And I'm going to dance on the camera because I want you to see what I'm saying about magnesium. And that just wasn't authentic to me. And so I quit doing it. Now I use a lot of, I'll use a technical term here, B-roll film.
Uh-huh.
I learned what that was too. But I use a lot of that to get my point across. But I've recently just kind of more stolen like into myself and like if this is a line fit, if I'm offering them what they need, then it's going to magically happen. They're going to connect with me. I'm going to be able to offer them what they're looking for. And so I've just been being myself more and more in my articles, in my blog, and just taking comfort in the fact that if they're really my true client, that my ideal client, that they're going to find me and they're going to ask me the right questions and I'm
Yep.
going to have the right answers. So,
Right. And here's the thing too, like even with us, right? We've had conversations and it was like, "Hey, it's not an aligned fit. You are my soul client." I believe. And it just was, sometimes it's like not the right time. One of my coaches used to say, like, not the right time, not the right offer. So maybe, like, I always think of it as like a merry-go-round, right? It's like sometimes people come back and it's like, okay, now's the right time. I'm going to hop off the merry-go-round
Right.
and work with you. Or maybe it's like, oh, now this is the offer. Yes, this feels good to me. This is what I feel like is going to help me. And so I think it's like maybe not having like it's oh yes or no, maybe it's like no for now, and like leaving that door open and building relationships. I think the biggest thing that I've learned, and you kind of talked about this before we got on live today, or you might have even said it on live, was business really comes down to connections, right? Relationships, networking, getting support in areas that you're not sure of. I still have coaches. I hire people. That's like one of my 5 profit pillars is like constant, personal growth, innovation, and learning and expanding, because I'm not done. I've been in this for 12 years. I've had a lot of failures. I've had a lot of successes, but I'm like just very focused on this is not just a business, it's a mission. And I
Mhm.
know that. And so I don't need to be perfect. I might say on here. I don't need to like like you said before, sing and dance. I mean, I do like to dance. But I think it really is business comes down to, you nailed it, bringing your full self-expression and authentic way to the world, and whoever's aligned with that is going to be like, yep, that's it, that's it. She's my girl,
Yep.
that's what I want,
Yep.
right? So I think that that's really powerful.
I'll
Speaking of
also
dance,
say here,
go ahead.
go ahead. I'll also say here that if you are considering pivoting in entrepreneurial role or whatever, pivoting in your career, that it's very important not only to know the what and the objective things, I guess, but also the subjective underlying issues that Christina, you have helped me with tremendously, dialing into some hidden feelings that I had hidden and buried and
Yeah.
not given validation to. Um, you
Yeah.
think you're going into business. Why do I need to worry about my nervous system? Why do
Yeah.
I need to learn how to breathe? I'm going into business. Like, what? And just being able to process some of those things that were holding me back from being able to come through and be my true self
Yeah.
has been, that I think has progressed me way beyond. It's kind of collapsed time for me
Right.
because I've been able to process some of those things and just be my true self. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's key.
entrepreneurship is about a lot more than just forming a business and getting an LLC and a tax ID number. It is a lot about dealing with your internal self and getting yourself ready, your mindset ready, which is just the same if you're going to try and lose weight or if you're going to try and balance your hormones. It doesn't matter how many hormones I throw at you. If you don't believe that you're capable of committing to doing work for changing your lifestyle, it's not going to help you in the end.
Mm,
So you can apply that to a lot of things, but I did want to just put that in there that you have really helped me transform very quickly. I might add
well,
things. I feel like this normally probably would have taken me 5 or 6 years, and what we've accomplished in the last year has been
wow.
phenomenal.
Well, thank you for, I don't even like, I'm trying to just like take a pause and receive that. I really just, I'm so grateful that you trusted in me, right? Because when anybody, whether you pay me $7 or 7,000, I want people to feel loved and supported and safe, to know that they can heal, because we need to feel safe to heal, to then express our God given gifts, our brilliance. And so that means so much to me that you've received that transformation. I'm a conduit for someone someone way higher. And I just follow my gut and my intuition, and that's really what's led me down this journey. I always say entrepreneurship is very much a faith walk. It's a co-creation of, yes, I am the one executing with my hands and feet, but God is the one that directs me. And I think that's where control patterns, right, come in. And I'm like, but wait, I want this to happen. So I think sometimes realizing that, like, where do we need to surrender? Where do we lean in a little bit to support all of these different aspects? Because, like you said, I think a lot of people don't realize how much not only in entrepreneurship, but probably, like you said, in the work you do, and epigenetics shows this, right? 95% of dis-ease is from the environment, and our environment is also internal. So the beliefs that we have, subconscious programming, our nervous system responses, so fight, flight, freeze, these are all protective parts of us that are trying to keep us safe. And so if we're trying to show up and shine in our business, but we have unworthiness, it's going to show up in different ways. And it's not, we're not shaming anybody. I've had all of the blocks and I still work on my blocks. It's about, okay, attuning with that part of you that's wanting to come on and prove your worth, right? Or sing and dance or whatever it is, however that shows up for you. And so that's really the work that I love doing. Like I can do all the other stuff like strategy, but for me, like really digging in with people and helping them reveal who they really are through their self-expression that's authentic is really the needle mover, and that's going to help you magnetize the people that are ready to work with you. So huge compliment. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I was going to talk about, I wanted to kind of, I like to throw in some like fun things too with these interviews here. So before Melinda and I got on, we were talking about like hidden talents that we have. And so one of mine is that I love to hula hoop. And with this big belly, I probably can't hula hoop very well, but I think I have a video somewhere on my phone. I just like love to hula hoop. So I want to hear, because you were like, oh yeah, I do blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what? So I like to kind of like, yeah, we talk about business and transformation, but like, I want to hear about you as a person too. So share with our audience a little bit about, was it archery?
Yes. So I'm married to my best friend, and one of his very favorite pastimes, which he made into a profession, he became a professional archer. And going along with him to the tournaments, I got antsy because I'm like, there's women shooting. Why can't I shoot? When am I going to get low? And that's all I had to say to him, buddy. He was like on it. He's got me the full setup with the black bow with the pink and blue strings and all the fancy gadgets and gadgets and stuff. And I'm actually not that bad. I'm not that great, but I have outshot some of his friends. They will not tell you that, but yeah, that's
Wow.
something that I've loved doing just because it helps us to spend time together, um, doing what he loves. And I sort of just do it kind of to support him and his passion.
Yeah.
But I've also killed some deer. We do live in South Georgia, and we do pack the freezer every fall with deer meat. So I've enjoyed just getting out into the nature and enjoying time outside, which I also love to do. I have 3 boys. They're 2 years apart. So they've always kept me busy outside with baseball and just all the things. I say we like to. We went snow skiing one time. That was an adventure for us South Georgians that have never experienced snow. I got to learn how to
Wow.
pizza, and as I'm crashing into the wall. But yeah, it was fun just getting to spend time with the boys, doing anything outside. We've gone to the Grand Canyon, gone hiking. My
Wow.
husband and I went to Hawaii for our 10th anniversary. We love to travel and see new things. We've even traveled to India together, and we visit a children's home in India where we just go and kind of minister to them and just spend some time with them and give them some quality time that they don't normally get.
Wow.
So it's fun. It's fun getting to travel and ride elephants and all the things. So
Oh
yeah,
my God, you've ridden an elephant? All right, we like the past 2 minutes, my mind is blown. Like, ridden an elephant. I need to see the picture of you with the archery. We need to drop that in the comments here.
absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yes.
I'm like, I lead a boring life. I go with the only, like, Eric and I go to food reviews and we get, I think that's what he does. So you're like an adventurist over there. That's really cool. And I
Yeah, I
love,
don't know
like,
that we've ever eaten at a 3-star Michelin restaurant or anything, but we have had some pretty good chai and garlic naan in the authentic country. So yeah, it's been
wow.
really cool.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Wow. You are such a well-rounded person. That's why I like to share some of these tidbits too, because I feel like, again, business really comes down to like, I want to know all these different nuances and parts of you. And I feel like you're so great. Speaking of like marketing, I remember seeing you skiing I remember seeing you, I think you were walking with your husband. Like, you're really great at being able to kind of bring people into your world. I think that's one of your gifts. And, um, like, people want to know that stuff. They're like, oh, what do you love? What are the things that you love to do? And I think that's huge. Like, this is if I could have like highlights, I'm gonna go back through and be like, because you had a really good quote before around minute 17, so I'm gonna go back and listen to this and like
Oh,
post
I'll
some
have to go back and
quotes.
listen. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think there's so many golden nuggets that you've shared that I want to highlight to the listeners out there. Like, hey, you can do something similar. Like, maybe for them, maybe they like writing rather than video. But like, I love how, Melinda, you bring out these different parts of your life and share them. Like, I remember seeing you play piano, and I was like, oh my God.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
you really are great at highlighting your gifts and sharing them and saying, like, and being very thoughtful and creative about how does that apply to your client. And that is beautiful. I think that's like, talk about years ahead of when I can remember when I started, I didn't even know what content to create. So you're like way ahead of definitely where I was. So I want to just again acknowledge you. This show is like a brag on you show. Just like
Oh, I
keep
don't know what to
bragging.
say. I will
So,
say though, a trick that I've learned in creating content recently
uh-huh.
is voice to text. Turn on voice to text in a Google Doc and just talk. Just talk. Just
Yeah.
tell your story, and then start talking and relate it into your subject matter. I related my story of fighting to find the answers for my health into how I can help other people find answers. And by the way, this is what estrogen is, and this is how it works. And once I got that healed, I was able to go and enjoy hiking the Grand Canyon with my boys because I didn't have any more inflammation. And just
Yeah.
kind of
Wow.
marrying it together in stories makes people really relate to you and sort of makes it magnetic for them. Like, this girl gets me, and that's what we
Right.
want, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot. I think you even said that to me at one point. But it's just, yeah, I think it's being real and being yourself. But there are so many layers, I think, and this is the work that I do a lot, especially in the beginning. There's a lot of that releasing of like the good girl or like people pleasing and all of the ways that we hide who we really are because it hasn't been safe for us to show up as ourselves. So I think that's a lot of sometimes the work in the beginning is like releasing a lot of that programming and really unlocking who you are. So beautiful.
Another thing that has been very helpful for me is to realize that I don't have to know it all.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the most proficient pharmacology, whatever, kinetics person.
Yeah.
I can look it up. I know where to find the answers, and it makes sense to me once I read it. But I'm more of the, let me tell you in real layman terms what this means.
Right. Right.
You know? And that is my gift. And now other people are gifted in being able to dose tobramycin and gentamicin at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
But and just like you are a pharmacist by trade, but you've totally transitioned that, and that's been a real inspiration for me to see as well. That you've totally transitioned into what you love and what you're good at, but you're still helping pharmacists. And if you help pharmacists, they can help people. And
Right.
ultimately, you're helping people. So it's just getting outside the box, thinking differently, and not holding yourself back because of any insecurities that you have. Like, when I started functional medicine, I sat in that first conference and I was like, what kind of Greek are they speaking? Your gut heals what? Your gut is responsible for what? And then I came home and cleared my pantry out. My husband just about divorced me. He's like, what are you doing with my Oreo cookies? And I'm like, we
Uh-huh.
got to get rid of it, babe. We just have to. And just being able to transition into from trying to be perfect and trying to have that professional persona. And that's sort of what I've done with the hormonal pharmacist. When I first started it, I tried to be really professional, and it was going to be Melinda Fowler Health. And I was going to just reach the masses and in my professional tone, which was totally not me.
Yeah.
I even I took a class on how to lose your Southern accent, believe it or not.
Oh my
Because people
God,
look at me and
no.
you're supposed to open your mouth wider, and I'm opening my mouth and you can still hear it. So it's just a battle that I forgot. I've just given up. And if nothing else, I can provide some entertainment with my Southern accent, right? But yeah, just really dialing into just who you are and stop trying to be something that you're not. You're gifted. Everybody's gifted with something.
Yep.
My son is an accountant. He is very organized, very type A. And when I bring him my taxes, he is like, Mom, what is this mess? I'm like, it's your job. It's your gift. You handle it. And you want me to help you with your medicine? I've got you.
Yeah.
So, just dialing into that and knowing that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know all the answers. And I started my functional medicine training when I was 47 years old. Never thought I would ever want to go back to school for anything, for nothing, and not especially functional medicine, which is a world that I didn't know anything about. But now it's become second nature. And now, in just casual conversations with people I see at church, they mention that they're fatigued, and I give them some tips on how to handle that. And they're just like, wow, like, thank you for sharing that. And,
Yeah.
it doesn't cost me a dime, but it does add value to their life. So that's what it's all about,
Yeah.
I think.
I love it. And that really goes with the theme of it's never too late to do what you love, which I love that you just shared that, because a lot of people, I just saw us in one of the other groups I was in, they were like, oh, I still don't have my stuff together and I'm 40. I'm like, you're okay. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
But we have all these stories like, I'm too old, I'm too young, da 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 da. I have never had kids. Like, all of the stories like that we have, but really it's about owning what you have. Like, I love your Southern accent. I have always said, your accent doesn't dictate your knowledge. Kudos to what you have accomplished. Jamie Velasquez, who I recently connected with, and I would love to get to know more because I don't know her, but I keep seeing her pop up everywhere. So yes, thank you so much for being here. Um, and you were talking about before, and this is not a knock on our profession or professionalism, but I'm part of the throw out the white coat club, because I'm like, I am not wearing a white coat. I have no desire to wear a white coat. That's not who I am. But kudos to people who want to. Like, if that's like, hey,
Yeah.
this is what you want to do and how you want to present. I'm like, the minute I quit Rite Aid, I was like, garbage. Like, I'm
Yeah.
done. It's like, so that's just me though. Like, everybody, I don't expect all my clients to be like, oh, I need to look and act and be like Christina. I want you to be your own. So if that feels good for you, you're like, I love this white coat, then you rock that white coat.
Yeah. I tell you, I kept my CVS white coat with the little red heart so that I can wear it on Halloween because it
There you go.
terrifies me. It terrifies me.
Penny, Penny, come, let's say hi to everybody. Here's my dachshund.
Oh, hey, sweet girl.
So she's gonna say hi because I can't really fit on this chair anymore. So I'm trying to like move because it's tiny. This chair is like, but yeah. So we have fun on this show, and I again thank you so much for being part of this, because this is a really special episode before my daughter is born, and oh man, I just can't believe it. Like, I was just a quick story. I was like bawling this morning. I wanted to share this because I think that it's so important to like talk about the why. Like, my dad was telling me my parents came to see me this past weekend because my mom had COVID. They couldn't come to my baby shower. And so they came this weekend, and my dad started telling me about how, like, he grew up very poor, and they would have like pasta with like no, I was like, all right, well, meatballs or like some kind of protein. No, just straight like that big thing of pasta because it was cheap. And then he was talking about how they had pizza, and they didn't have enough money for plates, so they would have to cut the pizza box. And I was just like, I think just reflecting today, realizing like how, I guess I just think about like the legacy that we leave, right? Whether you have children, whether you're an entrepreneur and you're birthing something. And it just brought me to tears. I'm like, wow, I am so abundant. Like, look at where my dad came from and built this. He had multiple businesses. Some of them failed. He had like a sneaker store that failed, but he had a pharmacy for 32 years. And I just thought about like, wow, I'm able to bring my daughter up in this, like, I live in a very safe neighborhood, and I have enough of everything I could ever want. I'm so grateful for my clients and my community and just everybody who has rallied around me to to support. So I guess I want to say this to just everybody in this group, and I'm going to tag everybody in this group so that they watch this amazing Facebook Live. But I just want to say thank you for supporting me, because this is scary. Like, I'm a full time entrepreneur. And I'm stepping into really uncharted, unknown territory here. But I do feel so loved and supported in so many ways. And I think about like my drive and where it comes from. Like, I've had a lot of abuse from like my dad, and he's had abuse from his dad, but that's stopping here with my child. So this child is going to be loved, she's going to be supported, and the legacy I want to leave is love, is for people to feel that frequency. I'm a healer, I'm a conduit of healing, and I know that so many of you watching are. And so I want to just encourage you. I know, like I said, this is the last Healers in Healthcare show for a while, but I want you to know that you are gifted, that if you're watching this, sorry, I didn't think she would start barking. Sorry, Penny, Eric, can you get her? I was in the middle of like a rant. I want you to know that you're gifted, and that, you know, if you're watching this, if you're still watching this with me here, that you have gifts to share. And I am just so grateful for you supporting me, for supporting Melinda. Thank you for being here. And I'll let you kind of close out with, you know, where people can find you, anything else you wanted to share. So,
Well, sort of along that same line, I
yeah,
also wanted to mention some names that these people probably don't even know I exist, but they have been real front runners in leading our profession into thinking outside the box and doing more innovative things. Blair Thielemeyer with the Pharmapreneur Academy was one of the first that I found that was doing things different, and sort of sparked that, huh, what is this about? And then
right.
Lauren Castle has started the Functional Medicine Pharmacist Alliance. She has been a very big influence in my career pivoting, and I just wanted to tell her thank you. And then
Aw,
you have the troopers of the pharmacy profession that are sticking it out, and like Bled Tano and Shane Jerominski, Maurice Shaw, all these people that are not afraid to attack the status quo and
yeah.
make life better for pharmacists and for our profession. I just wanted to give a little shout out to them and just say, I see you, you're seen, you're heard, and you're appreciated. And then I will be remiss not to mention my parents, if I can do this without crying. I lost them both in December 2020 to COVID. And you talk about leaving a legacy. Um, they left such a huge impact on so many people. And I'm just trying to maybe live a little bit more into what they taught me about being myself and about loving who I am. And that really all we're here for is to spread the light of Christ to other
Right.
people and to be that light that people need to see when they're in a desperate situation. Like they are newly diagnosed diabetic and they just need to see a light. And so, what I have coming up, I have started the Hormonal Pharmacist, which is an online, all virtual functional medicine practice. I like to call it a functional medicine experience, because people aren't really familiar with the online telehealth space, at least not in my area of the country.
Yeah.
It's a little bit nuanced and something that is going to be more and more in our future. So I have gotten that started. I am also about to pivot into a new role as a pharmacist for a company that actually reached out to Lauren Castle with the Functional Medicine Pharmacist Alliance looking for a pharmacist that had functional medicine experience. And they're 45 minutes from my house. It just really seemed like such an aligned fit.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to how that's going to play out and how I'll be able to help their patients to receive some functional medicine, get into that space a little bit. So, yeah, so you can find me on all the socials, Hormonal Pharmacist. I'm on TikTok, Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram. I have a blog, I have a website, hormonalpharmacist.com. And yeah, you can just Google me, Hormonal Pharmacist, and there I
Yeah.
am. So, yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing your light, your gifts with us, and sorry for the loud noise. That just goes to show this show is definitely not perfect, but she's calm. Eric was leaving. Of course, he had to leave now, but yeah, I will link everything in the show notes. Priscilla will upload this to YouTube. We can share everywhere, and then you can tag everybody that you acknowledge, which was so beautiful at the end. So we'll share this everywhere. And yeah, we will see you on the next Healers in Healthcare show, tentatively for May of this year. So thank you so much, Melinda, and we'll stay on. You'll stay on with me, and I'll close out here. All right, bye, everybody.